Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the ThreeZero DLX Marvel Studios The Infinity Saga Iron Spider from Avengers Infinity War. Although I think it's going to be one of those situations similar to Black Panther where I feel like this should actually be Avengers Endgame, because this one has I believe this one has the instant kill eyes. Yeah, there. So that really, to me, is an Avengers Endgame figure. But anyway, thanks to Big Bad Toy Store for getting this out to me so I can review for you guys. So I'm very excited. I love the ThreeZero DLX line for the Infinity Saga. I'm well on my way to having every single one. I have a few others, so in the next few videos, you're going to see a lot of the Iron Mans. I got Mark II, Mark III, and then War Machine from Age of Ultron to review along with this Iron Spider. I also picked up the Iron Man Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. So I just love these figures and I'm very excited. So Iron Spider is new in stock at Big Bad Toy Store now. Link in the video description below. So looking at the box, one thing that's changed up between this is we actually get a look at the figure on the side. Is it a big deal? Absolutely not. Just pointing out that it is different because none of the other Iron Mans, Iron Patriot, War Machine are like that. So that is new. And then actually on the back of the figure, back of the box, we actually get another look at the figure, which is different from the other Iron Mans. This is just a lot of legal wording and everything in a bunch of different languages. Opening up the flap, you could see here the figure and then some of the different accessories and things that he comes with. And in the window box, you can kind of see Iron Spider in there, but what you can really see is the Waldos, the spider arms in there. So I'm excited for this Iron Spider, so let's go ahead and get this out and take a look. Hey guys, MCU Collector here. Before we get into the video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. My goal is to hit 50,000 by the end of the year, and we're less than 3,000 away. So with your help, we can hit that goal and reach 50,000 subs by the end of 2024. Okay, so we have the Iron Spider figure out of the package, and yeah, it's a good one, as expected, and I'm really excited about it. The proportions in some areas look a little bit off to me, and that's going to be kind of the design and the sculpt. Like the upper torso portion just looks a little bit too big, in my opinion, as it allows for some good range of motion. It looks a little too big. The accessories are really nice. We get a few different web accessory pieces, as you can see here. It looks like there's 4 different shorter web pieces, and then we have 2 longer web pieces here. We get this this web cone portion out that you can put like on the ends of some of the webs, so you know, as he's shooting webs and kind of reaching out, you could do that. We get extra sets of hands. We have the pinchers, as they're called in the instruction booklet. You just pop out the back piece and then you port these in on the back like so. I'll show you guys that a little bit later in the video. We get a few different extra set of hands. So we get wall crawling hands here. I lost a wall crawling hand somewhere apparently. But we have wall crawling hands. There it is. Wall crawling hands here, as you can see. So these are sculpted nicely, and you can see the little arc reactor type thing there in the center, which is good. We get the thwip hands. So we got those thwips, as you can see there. We got just the open relax hands, as you can see there. And they're done really nicely. Nice metallic red on there. And then we've got the web gripping hands. So these ones are to grip the webs, as you can see there. And then on the figure, he's got fists. Then we also get these different pieces. So a couple plastic pieces. One I didn't bring out. That's just to pop out the piece on his backside, so you can plug him into the flight stand or the display stand. And then you have this plastic piece here to swap out those eye lenses. So the eye lenses, he's got 4 different ones total. You have the ones on the figure out of the package, as you can see there. We get the instant kill mode ones that are a little squinted down with the eyes, the lenses. If it'll focus on that. No, it's a little small, so you can see red. And then we get a couple of different sizes on the lenses. So those where his lenses are open as wide as they can be. Then you have another version where they're squinted down a little bit, as you can see there. And then another set, and these are tiny, so you got to be very careful with these. Another set where he's really squinted down, but it's still the blue as in the regular eyes, so they light up. Now, this guy does not take any batteries. He does not light up whatsoever. The Iron Mans take a bunch of batteries because they have parts that light up and stuff. Iron Spider does not light up, and I think the head is a little too small for them to try and have done that. So that's kind of what we have going on there. And then, of course, each individual pincer, spider leg is the same, different points of articulation, but they all peg in there. So I guess those would kind of be accessories there as well. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look at Iron Spider. I'm going to take these spider legs off so we can easily kind of maneuver around. But the spider legs themselves look pretty good. And I like when we have movie accurate, screen accurate colors to it. They were blue and gold in the movies. So nice to see a nice, good blue and gold here. Marvel Select made one that was really good, but had red in them. Marvel Legends has ones that are okay, but they're just all a dull gold-ish color. And then Mafex has some that look pretty good, and I will do comparisons with all those figures towards the end. So let's get in for the closer look. Okay, so here's a closer look at the Iron Spider. After this segment, we will do the swapping out of the lenses, and I'm just, they're so tiny, I'm really scared at kind of how that's going to work. Always make sure to read the instruction booklet, which I will show that before we kind of get into it. But looking at the figure, the metallic red and blue on here is really nice. The gold is solid. It's not real shiny or anything, so it works out well. But the metallic red just looks really good. And one thing about this figure, he has these very prominent shoulder pads here. So kind of like the Iron Man figures, you know, they can pop on, they can clip on and off if need be, and then you can kind of move them out as you want to adjust the arms around and whatnot. Now, the shoulder pads themselves, like Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, I don't think we ever really got a good look at the shoulder pads. I never really noticed them until Far From Home, and I think in Far From Home, it's because we had a more clear look and it wasn't as dark with them, and then he was kind of slowed down, just kind of standing there like in that opening. I think they were, I don't know what the place was called. I don't know if it was called Feast in the movie, but, you know, where Aunt May works and they were doing that charity event. That's when I really noticed, you know, the big shoulder pads. So we have the figure here. I had talked about the proportions, and one thing is you could see here, this upper torso piece, how far it sticks out from the lower torso piece. It allows for good range of motion in the articulation, but one thing that I don't like is just it's very large. I wish it were a little bit smaller. But given, you know, the nature of this type of figure, that's probably the best that they could do. But that's my biggest gripe about the figure, because I just think it's a little too big. But that's just me. Looking at the rest of the figure, we get the web shooters there. And those look pretty good. The rest of the figure, we get the sculpted line work, and then we got his boots and everything here. I feel like these lower legs might be die cast. I think the joints definitely are. I can't be certain, but it almost feels like these lower legs could be, but I could be wrong on it. He's got some weight since there is die cast parts in there. So yeah, looks pretty good. Paintwork looks pretty good. I typically think ThreeZero does some flawless paint applications. I had said that on like the black and gold Iron Man Mark 50 that I had, and then realized that, I didn't realize, Boppo commented, and he noticed that the left arm on that was missing paint, 2 different colors, like gold and red. So I had to send it out to Hong Kong for ThreeZero to go ahead and correct that. Hopefully I get that back soon. But yeah, so Iron Spider looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and figure out how to swap out these eye lenses pieces. And, you know, we can take a look at all the different lenses. Okay, so always make sure to read through the instructions so you know exactly kind of what to do on these different situations here. But you get a run through of the figure and everything like that, you know, how you can do the articulation with the drop down hips and all those things, so you can avoid pieces hitting each other and whatnot. And then swapping out the lenses, as you can see there, you just pull the head off, use that little tool that it comes with, and pop those things out, which is not the easiest. And again, tiny pieces, scared they're going to go flying and missing. So I want to be very, very careful. But there we have the instruction sheet. So I already popped one eye lens out, and that was not the most fun process, if I'm being completely honest. Whoops, drop that. Whoops, drop that. See what I mean? I'm going to drop all kinds of pieces. I don't even know where this lens went. But anyway, as you can see there, it just kind of sticks into the eye lens hole there. I wish they would have just done separate heads, although I know that sounds like it could be a little pricey. But the way this works is it's kind of deep in there. You have to go in with this at an angle, and then, you know, like a lever, pull back on it. No, there we go, and pop it out, and there you could pop the lens out. And then, as you can see here, that peg, you know, went right into that hole. You have to like maneuver it back around to get this tool out, because it doesn't want to just come out, because you have to angle it a certain way, because there is not a lot of clearance room in there. But swapping out the lenses now, let's see. I think they're just gonna like pop in. They just friction fit in. So here we have the instant kill. mode eye lenses, and those look good. I like the way they look. And then we can just ball peg, make sure that's kind of centered, and then we can just pop that right back onto the head. So there we have our instant kill mode head for Iron Spider, which again, Avengers Infinity War, not Avengers Endgame, not Avengers Infinity War. Okay, so we're going to run through each lens. Here is the slightly squinted from the wide open eyes. So not a big difference, but there is a little bit of difference. And I kind of like these ones, I think, more than the super wide one, because for whatever reason, it just makes the eyes seem super big. So I like this size here most. Now let's go ahead and check out the super squinty one. And here, the squinted down, these ones don't look terrible, but it doesn't really show off the bright blue in there to really show the glow type effect that, you know, it kind of gives off. So I'm going to go back to the super wide just because that's the default one. Okay, so I want to show you guys how some of the pieces are going to kind of swap out. So the wrists are just on a ball peg and hinge there, so just swapping those out is very easy. Is that the right? I feel like that's not the right one. This one's the right one. So you could just pop the hands on there. Little pegs, always worry about, you know, breaking those. But you get it on there, and then bam, you got like thwip. The problem is these hinges aren't the best. You just have to like turn it a certain way, and then you can kind of get it. So it just kind of depends where you kind of position that wrist. But anyway, swapping out the hands is very easy. I wanted to show you guys, you know, on the back, his back piece here, you just get your fingernail under there, and you just pull that off, and then as you can see there, it just kind of exposes it. And then these pinchers, I already have them on there. If I needed to, I could probably work these out, but I'm just scared, you know, thin plastic, that you could break it. So I would just, you know, recommend being as careful as possible, because, you know, you don't want anything to go wrong. And that's just not the way it goes. It goes like that, and you just peg it right back onto the figure like so. And then you have your pinchers on. So very easy to do. So now let's go ahead and check out the articulation. First we're going to do the pinchers, and then I'm going to remove them so I can go through the rest of the figure, because it'll be much easier. So these pinchers, the way they swivel at the peg where they snap into the back of the figure. There is also a hinge, so you got good hinge motion going out there, as you can see there. And then 1, 2, 3 different points of articulation as well. So you have a hinge there, and then you have another hinge there, and then you have another hinge there at the edge. So you can get it to curl up that much in total. So that is great. The swivel is only at that first where you plug it into the back. So awesome points of articulation. You can get it to go straight out, and then again, kind of curled in as much as possible. Each piece is the exact same, so they're going to have the same exact points of articulation. So there we go there. So now let's go ahead and check out the articulation for the rest of the figure. And again, I will remove this back piece just so we can kind of easily go through the rest of the articulation that the figure has. Okay, so Iron Spider's articulation, he's got articulation everywhere, so he can look up all the way, which is great. He can look down all the way, which is awesome as well. You get some really good pivot. You got swivel in that head, all kinds of motion going on there, which works out really well. The arms you can get to go straight on out, so you can do a full T-pose if you needed to. Rotation, you get full rotation in there, which is great. We have not really a butterfly. It just allows to go up and down in there. It doesn't. Oh, there we go. So it was a little stiff. So it comes forward a little bit. Not really anything that's going to help with crossbody, but maybe in the back. Yeah, see, it doesn't really move back. So while there is technically, yes, a butterfly joint in there, it is not very effective. So just a heads up on that. You have an upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend at the elbow, which is nice. Wrist swivel, and the hinge, again, there is a ball joint in there in the hinge. So to hinge certain way, you'd have to really move the ball joint. It's a little bit difficult with the hands are on there, just a heads up. We have the diaphragm cut on there, so that diaphragm itself can tilt to the left that much, can tilt to the right that much there as well. That is good. Going back itself is a little bit, coming forward itself is that much. Now we also get a second point of articulation in that torso, so coming forward total is going to be that much. Going back isn't going to be a whole lot, because there's this weird thing on this back. So it has this extra piece there, which is a bit odd to me. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. It holds there, and I wonder if it's just to kind of fill out any gap and make it look like it's not, you know, separating in pieces. It's a little bit weird, as you can see there, but it holds in place nicely. It's just, you know, odd to see in my opinion, but you know, it's there, and I guess it helps, you know, cover up some weird spots. There is a little bit of a tilt at that waist as well, so you can see the torso can tilt on its own a little bit there, and then if you use the tilt of that torso, it can tilt all the way to the left that much there. You can tilt all the way to the right that much there. So really good range of motion in there. You could swivel at that waist a little bit, and then that diaphragm can swivel a little bit too. You're not going to get a huge amount of swivel, but I think it's going to be kind of a natural amount of turn that any person would actually be able to do. Now the legs have drop downs. So if you kick forward without doing the drop down, you can kick forward that far, which is actually still pretty good. But there is a crazy drop down. Look how ridiculous that drop down is. That is insane. That drop down allows for insane movement. So the leg straight out to the side, leg straight out to the front, the leg going back super far, you know, because you can kind of get it to go back anyway. So it's pretty crazy that they have it in there. But not only that, there's a hinge in there. So you can hinge the drop down for some reason. Like I've seen other drop down hips, sure. But a hinge in that drop down is kind of insane. And I feel like that's a loose piece. I wonder if that's supposed to be loose. I think probably came off from that ball joint and probably needs to get back on there. So I need to figure out that. Yeah, that's probably not supposed to come off. So let's see if I can just easily get this right back in there. I think it just covers the ball joint. Oops. And then the other one came off. See, so there's the other thing with this. When you have these massive drop down hips, I think they just drop down a little too much. It's just unnecessary to drop down that much. And the fact that there's the hinge, again, is a little bit weird to me. But hey, you can get all kinds of motion in there. You have upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless knee, that much bend there at the knee. There is no other swivel other than ankle swivels. It hinges a tiny bit, hinges up a little bit. You got toe articulation in there and a little bit of pivot. I will tell you, this is one of the weak spots of the ThreeZero DLX Infinity Saga figures. The ankles are not great. I keep popping them off very easily. As you can see here, it's on a ball joint, a very small ball joint, so it doesn't allow for a huge amount of pivot and hinge. So just a heads up on that. I think that is definitely a weak part of ThreeZero's body setup for the Infinity Saga DLX figures. But everything else, very, very solid. Okay, so the way the web works, we get two of these shorter webs and then two of these longer webs here. The tricky thing is you put them around the wrist peg and then you put the thwip hand on there. You cannot then hinge the thwip hands at all, so they basically just need to be like straight out like so. You could swivel around a little bit, but you're not gonna really get the hands to kind of bend out a little at all. So you know, you could do, you know, you could just kind of like thwip, and then you gotta just position it the right way with the hand there. So, you know, boom, thwip, right? That's how you do it there. So again, we get two of those pieces, two of each of the pieces. So as you can see, like size-wise, here you get two of these long ones, two of the short ones in total. And then we have these extra pieces here. So we have this web here. So this one is like one that, you know, if you want to do like a swinging pose or something, you have the web grip hands. So you can grip the web on there like so. And then this extra one, which the same thing, you can grip on there. This one on the end has that peg, so you can put, I don't know what you would call this, but it's like the cone, you know, the splayed out web. It pegs on there like so. So that web there. So that is pretty cool how that works. Okay, so for size comparisons along with Iron Man's, here we have the Iron Man Mark 50. Since that one makes the most sense, it's the Avengers Infinity War version, while they call this Iron Spider the Infinity War version. The Mark 50 is going to go along with it. The Mark 85 will be a nice addition if you put the instant kill mode eyes on there, because you have the Avengers Endgame version. The 85 has not released. It has not become available on Big Bad Toy Store yet. It is still up for pre-order. The pre-order ones are the Mark 85, the Mark 4, the Mark 5, the Mark 6, and the Mark 7. And I'll I'm excited for all of those. They also have the Mark 42 is available for pre-order, and the Iron Man Mark 44 Hulkbuster is also available for pre-order. I cannot wait until Big Bad Toy Store get those ones in stock, because I am super excited. I absolutely love this line of figures, and seeing these two together, just love the metallic reds and everything. They just shine. Just looks so good. Okay, along with some additional size comparisons, let's check out some other Iron Spider figures. So first up, we have the Mafex. This was, I think, that second release that had the instant kill mode eyes on there. One thing about this one, I have a frozen left leg on that one, so I don't know if it's standing up straight. Maybe it is. But as you can see, size-wise, it's completely different, whereas they're all considered 1/12 scale figures. The ThreeZero DLX figures are more of a 7-inch scale, so which would make it like 1/10 scale, I think it is. So that's why they're a little bit larger. Mafex is 1/12, but it's like Japan 1/12, which is supposedly quote-unquote true 1/12 scale, whereas like Marvel Legends is a 6-inch scale, roughly 1/12, but not quite. So that's why Mafex looks tiny compared to this ThreeZero. Okay, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't remember what the spider legs on the SH Figuarts looks like. This was, again, the second release version of the Iron Spider, whereas the figure itself had a huge update compared to the first one they had, which was atrocious. But I don't remember what the spider legs look like on this. I don't know if they were the right colors or what it is. It's packed away in the box somewhere. This is the one that I have on display, and just like the Mafex, he's tiny. Oh, Marvel Legends. Yeah, dull gold legs that only came on the 2-pack release with Iron Man that was exclusive to Target. Would have liked a better Iron Spider figure. This one got released a bunch of times, and most recently this year in the A-list version. I don't hate the figure, it's just when you compare it to other ones, the other ones are just so much better. But size-wise, you know, Marvel Legends is 6-inch scale, 1/12 scale figure. The DLX still towers over the Marvel Legends one. Okay, so here's an interesting comparison. So here we have the Marvel Select Iron Spider figure, which the spider legs look cool, but there was no red in them in the movie, but the figure, for whatever reason, has red in there. And then the blue is a very bright blue. The red is a bright red. I don't think that it's wrong, but it is a very bright red. So you can see the difference between these two. And then also, if you notice, the size of the two are more in line with each other than you may think. The head looks a little bit big on the Marvel Select, but then on the DLX, I think it might look a little bit small. He's got very long legs on the DLX, so it's just kind of there. But they're essentially very similar in height. Marvel Select is a 7-inch scale, 1/10 scale. DLX says 1/12 scale, but it is about a 7-inch figure, as you can see here, with these two being the same height. Okay, so that is my review of the DLX ThreeZero Iron Spider figure. Fantastic addition to the DLX Infinity Saga line. I knew ThreeZero was going to kill it, and I'm very pleased with what they've got going on here. We've got die-cast parts, we've got plastic, sure. We got some amazing paint applications on this figure. Extreme posability for a heavy die-cast figure in 7-inch form. All kinds of great stuff. I love that you could do like a superhero landing pose type thing, but again, the ankles are going to be the weak point and the DLX figures, but awesome addition. I can't wait to get the other Iron Man figures. I wish the line was still going to continue, because after Iron Man Mark 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 85 Hulkbuster that I need, and then the Mark 42. I still need the Mark 43. I still need the 43 Battle Damage Limited Edition version that's not available on Big Bad Toy Store. So I still need to get all those. So I'm still not complete with the line, but I'm well on my way, and I just wish we would get additional figures in the line. Now, certain ones are making sense, right? We got Iron Spider, Black Panther, War Machine that are outside of Iron Man figures. The same thing that they all have in common is they have metal suits. Black Panther's kind of a tricky one because his suit doesn't really seem like metal, although it is vibranium made, so it fits in kind of that category of a metal suit. And that's kind of the theme that we have with the DLX figures. I would have loved to see them tackle some other figures, but I don't know exactly how they would do in terms of like actor likenesses, because not a single one of these is going to have that. So maybe that's why we don't have anything. Maybe they could have pulled off like an Ant-Man figure or something, you know, something where we don't see their face, although that's not a metal suit. So I think that's kind of how the limitations went with that. So, you know, War Machine obviously makes sense. Black Panther is a stretch but works. And then Iron Spider, of course, makes sense. Now, I would have loved to have seen more Iron Man figures, more War Machine figures. You know, the War Machine from Infinity War that we never got any figure from. That would have been awesome if we got a DLX version. Or what if they did that Iron Patriot from Avengers Endgame? That thing would be amazing. It would be huge and it would be awesome. But, you know, this is what we have, and I'm very pleased with the Iron Spider. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of this Iron Spider figure? Is it one that you've picked up already? Is it one that you're looking to pick up? It's going to blow away all the other Iron Spider figures that you have in your collection. Size-wise, you might want to take into consideration, but definitely an awesome addition. Again, it is in stock right now at BigBadToyStore.com, so link in the video description below if you want to pick it up. And then also I'll have links to all the Iron Man figures and everything that's in there. It's, in particular, this Iron Man Mark 50, which is absolutely gorgeous figure. So just a heads up there. So there we go. The ThreeZero DLX Infinity Saga figures. I'm a big fan. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me know in the comments. And then don't forget to subscribe. If you made it this far, please, please, please subscribe. My goal is to hit 50,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're so close. Less than 3,000 to go, but I need your help. Hopefully I've earned your subscription, so please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Of course, as always.